Welcome to all of the nobility. Islam.
Welcome to all wars, Islam.
Yes, welcome, Islam. Islam, welcome. Let's give everyone just another moment or two to the nobility to arrive, and then we'll get started. It's about 5 after right now, so we'll give it another minute or two, and we'll let everyone come in. Islam. 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 More nobility is arriving. Islam.
Tazarna Kirabe.
Islam. Welcome, Empress Tazarna.
Islam.
Colorado Territory Empress. Islam.
And I'm here from Little Rock, Arkansas, Deborah Thompson Bay.
Yes, Islam, Empress Deborah. Welcome,
Thank
welcome,
you.
welcome. We're honored to have you.
Thank you.
Yes. Islam, Empress Jonai, I see you in the chat. Islam.
Islam, Mr. Kamal.
Justice Kamal has arrived from Pasco Territory. Islam, welcome.
Islam.
Okay, we will go ahead and get started. I'm just so excited for all that the ancestors are doing and showing us and giving us the keys to the estate. And the way they work is, and you all know this because they work through you all just like they do through everyone, all of us, through all the Moors. I see in the chat Las Vegas and Columbus, Georgia territories. Welcome to the nobility from Las Vegas. Welcome to the nobility of Columbus, Georgia territory. Thank you for being here, Islam. We're honored to have nobility from all over. Islam. The way the ancestors work is that, and you all know this, I'm talking to the nobility, so I'm just sharing a few of my thoughts on that. Islam, I don't know why that is. I don't know why it's frozen. It's not showing frozen on this end, so Justice Theodore in the chat put that it's frozen. But the way that the ancestors have been working is that they'll show us something in the spirit first, and when our spirits are clear and we've done our energy clearing and we've kind of cleaned out our pineal eye, our third eye, our pineal gland, and that only takes a second or two. Then they show us something and we see it, and we do the study on it, and then we do a demonstration first to see what response we get from the estate, because now we're talking directly to our estate and to the resources that are on it. And then when we see what the results are of that demonstration, we tweak it a little bit, and then we put the information out there. So, and that's just how we've been proceeding. Just hear from the ancestors, then do the study. Let me see, and I don't know why that is, because it might be the bandwidth, Justice Jeremiah. Let me just see. Okay.
It's good now.
Huh?
It's good now. You did it. You enabled the screen that you had disabled.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Islam.
Islam. And so the way the ancestors have been doing things is they'll tell us something or show us something, and this is they deal the same way with many of you too as well. And then some they deal with in other ways, each according to his own, will. And so they'll show us something, and then they'll give us some supporting documentation, and then we do a demonstration on it and see what the result of the demonstration is, and then we implement what they show us. So I just want to say just a couple of things about where we are right now, and as we go into this teaching and sharing, actually, is what it is, because I'm not just talking at you. I learn as I'm going as well. So I'm learning right along with the rest of the nation. The Moors are positioned economically. Now, not just in our status. We know our status is the highest status on earth and in heaven, actually. We know that already. Genetically, we are sovereign in our genetics, in our genetic makeup as well. We have the cure for everything within us. With certain foods and things like that, we know we can cure anything that's going on with us. And so even where our status is concerned economically, we are positioned in the highest, most advantageous place on earth, and we're preparing to move as such. One of the things that we once we do the name change and judicial proclamation, one of the first things that we admonish or encourage the sovereigns to study first and then to do is to terminate all corporate contracts universally on the public record. When we terminate all corporate contracts universally on the public record and we honor our mothers and fathers and the inheritance that they gave us by giving us these sovereign appellations and titles of nobility, we obliterate all corporate debt in our lives. And then we have to stand on that because the corporations, they act like they sometimes cannot see, and they try to move on their citizen and their corporate, that all caps corporate name. But we know how to get past that, okay? Because all that is capitalism in effect for them, not for us, but for them. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. Economically, we are the only sovereign, original, indigenous nation and government on our land who has no debt. And as the heir to all land, all natural resources, and all universal commerce, we supersede all others economically. And now we must study and demonstrate in that manner. But the first thing we have to do is come out of the system where we felt we didn't have any advantage. And in reality, we did not. That system is not, we're not to operate in it. Islam, welcome nobility. So we have to come out of the system that has kept its thumb on the Moors for this long. That system is the capitalist system. You hear the Albions talking about it all day long on all of their stations, and so we can't say that no one told us. It's just that we needed to do the study on what the capitalist system is. And they make it sound like it's a whole bunch of codes, and it is codes and statutes and things that are they make it seem like it's things that are too difficult to understand and to overstand and to understand. And so the ancestors have made it so that we can break that all the way down to its bare minimum without all the color. Okay? And without all of the color on top of capitalism, now they've openly admitted that that's the system they're using. Why? Because they never thought we'd figure it out. But it's so simple. It's so simple that we looked all over the place and didn't look straight at us as being the foundation of Islam, Empress, welcome. The foundation of that system. And so how are we the foundation of the capitalist system? We're the foundation of that system, and we're coming out of that. Because they could not do any of what they're doing without fraudulently rewriting, and they didn't even rewrite it because it's not even a version of our name. our appellation. All they did was start using capital letters where there should not be any capital letters. And then they taught us to look at those and say, oh, that's a letter, when it's not a letter, it's a glyph. It's a picture. Capital letters are not letters. They're glyphs. They're pictures. Okay? The Phoenician alphabet, and in all of the alphabet that we, because you know we originated all writing, all law, all language, all science, all of that. The original alphabet that we use did not contain any capital letters, none. Empress, you might need to go in and come out. She thinks that it's just showing something on the left side of the screen in a little box, and that's okay, because we're going to do some screen sharing in just a little bit. And so, with that capitalist system, all they did was take our name, our sovereign name that our sovereign mother gave us, and they started substituting things in that name to make it look like it's something that it's not. Okay? So let me give you an example of that. And this board may be a little bit hard for some of you to see, but I'll explain to you what I'm doing.
No, actually I haven't. Last I saw was on the
yes?
table.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. She was not talking to us. I'm sorry. Okay. So now, what I'm writing on the board right now is, in all lowercase letters, I'm writing the sovereign appellation that my mother gave me. Now, what makes it sovereign is because she, the sovereign, spoke it. And we know that when we speak, jurisdiction cannot be waived even by consent of both parties. So even if we did not know who we were, okay, we still are sovereign. Okay, even in our sleep, we were still sovereign. Still, we just didn't know it. We didn't remember because Hiram Abiff had a bump on the head and forgot. Okay, and so as you come in, go ahead and mute so that the others can hear.
Islam, Louisiana
Islam.
territory.
Islam, welcome nobility.
Islam, Khalifa Jabba.
Islam,
Khalifa
welcome nobility.
territory.
Islam, welcome nobility.
I apologize for didn't come in early. I forgot.
That's okay, Empress. If you'll just go ahead and star 6 so that we can continue, we'll go ahead with what we're doing here.
Okay.
Islam, welcome nobility.
I'm trying to figure out how to
and
do this.
I think what I'm going to go ahead, that's okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and just mute so that we can do just a general mute. All right. So what I'm going to do is write on the board a sovereign appellation in all lowercase letters, okay? And what makes it sovereign, again, is that our mothers, the sovereign, original, indigenous mothers of the land, who have the final say, because she is the one who birthed the nations, and that's not a slight on our men. In fact, it is a compliment to them. The sovereign mother, when she speaks our name through the ages, our appellations, when we first crown the sovereign stargate, and she is waiting there for us, and she gives us a sovereign appellation, that sovereign appellation, from the moment she speaks the name, the appellation, the estate is created in all lowercase letters. All lowercase letters. Okay? So I'm going to write on the board in all lowercase letters the sovereign appellation that I was given that had been hypothecated. Okay. Now, when our sovereign mothers speak that name, that appellation, because it is an appellation, when she speaks it, and because we carry the bloodline and the birthright, when she speaks it, it is a sovereign appellation, and the estate is created in all lowercase letters, which is in Capitis, deminutio, minima. Okay, and we talked about this the last time, but I want to put a little bit more on it because, again, the capitalist system. Yes.
May I interrupt on something? Because I was going over that this afternoon, and I realized something, that Capitis deminutio minima means the minimum capitalization. It doesn't mean no capitalization. Capitis, it has to be, there's Capitis nolo, or none, means no capitalization. We're catching up with the language, and this is the part that we need to realize. Because Capitis deminutio, remember, is if you use one capital letter in there, it is still diminishing the status, right?
It's actually let me put that on. Let me put the meanings. I'll screen share the meanings here.
Yes,
Islam.
I was chasing
I'll screen share them
today. That's why I'm reading
Islam. Islam.
This is Stanley Day.
Yes, if you all will hold your questions until after the teaching, so that we can.
I understand, but I have the name for what you're looking for. It's media. Capitis deminutio media. That's the all lower name.
Yeah, okay. Let me put it on the screen so that you can see that that's not the one that we're looking for. I appreciate the input, but let me put this on the screen for the more, so that we can all see, because we're all learning this here at the same time. Okay, let me put this on the screen. Let's see. All right. Let me just see where the document is. Let me put it on the screen so that we can all see. Just a moment. There it is. Okay. Let's see if that puts it up there. Photos. Oh, here it is. Okay. You should be able to see it. Is it showing? Let me start sharing that. Is it showing on the screen from Black's Law?
Yeah.
Revised 4th edition? Okay. All right. What it says initially, and Justice, you're more hold what you're saying because that's a key. Capitis deminutio, meaning the diminishing of status through the use of capitalization in Roman law. Okay. It is a diminishment or abridgment of personality, a loss or curtailment of a man's status or aggregate of legal attributes and qualifications. Now, let me clarify some things here. We are not doing anything legal, we're doing things lawfully, because legal is a feudal term, so we don't use the word legal, we use lawful. And when it's done, when something that is quote unquote legal is done by a sovereign, it takes on a whole new higher dimension. And higher laws take effect to our advantage. Okay? Capitis deminutio minima meaning a minimum loss of status through the use of capitalization, e.g., and it has here, and Justice Yearmore, I'll let you talk a little bit about what you just said too, John Doe. And it has John Doe with just the first letter capitalized and the rest of the letters are smaller. And it is the lowest or least comprehensive degree of loss of status, okay? It says, this occurred when a man's family relations alone were changed. It happened upon the arrogance or pride of a person who has been his own master, sui juris, which is, we are sui juris, but again, we've always been our own I, self-law, and master, of his own right, not under any legal disability. So we have nothing that is above what we say, the law that we are, because we are the law and we are the government. It says, or upon the emancipation of one who has been under the patria potestas, which is the Pope. And we know that any names with capital letters in it is Pope. That's a slave of the Pope. So that's why we don't use any capital letters, because slaves of the Pope use them. Especially if you're using them in a corporate status. If you are inside that system, the capitalist system, and you're trying to make your way around that system to your freedom, you do not want to ever use capital letters at all. Now, Justice Yearmore, I'm going to go back to the screen here, and we're going to put in the chat what you said, the term or phrase that you said before. Go ahead. And Justice Yearmore, I don't know why your sounds a little fuzzy to me, but it may not sound fuzzy to everyone else in terms of the sound quality. Not what you're saying. What you're saying is clear. Can you spell the term that you just used that indicates no capital letters whatsoever?
Okay, the term was nolo, N-O-L-O or N-U-L-L, because it equals zero, not aught, but zero.
Okay, so nolo minimum, nolo, okay. Nolo, so then it would be nolo in capital.
Nolo equals zero, no caps.
Okay. Right.
Minima is, you know already, and you also know mediano and maximo. So it's just that first one, because when we were doing the research, and the minimal, because somebody wanted to slip a Mickey in or out, because remember, they're always editing those books, so we have to catch ourselves too. And it was the language myself and Empress Samara were speaking about it earlier today, because we were going to do something on it, but and I wanted to pass it on just to make sure, you know, because we are always correcting, because that's how we go.
Yes,
so,
and that's what this is about, is making sure that we have our language correct. And you know, I'm ever the student. So what I'm hearing is then in Capitis deminutio nolo.
It would be the Capitis deminutio is already diminishing. Capitis nolo doesn't diminish, because there's no cap. That is that is the thing, because Capitis deminutio is already saying, remember, we are diminishing whenever you use even one cap. You diminish more when you use medium caps, more than one, and you diminish to the status of chattel when you use all caps. But nolo is the one state where there is no caps, which is what you spoke about at the first one. And that one is, in fact, where the sovereign has the standing. Test it easily. If you just write some letters in your, we'll just write some names with A, B, C, D, and you do the A in lowercase first, and then the A in upper. And what you'll find is A in lowercase will come out as the one on top. B lowercase will come out as a 1 on top whenever you do them in Windows or anything of the sort to do a filing system.
Islam. So in Capitis nolo, that means in no capital letters, right?
That's no caps, correct.
All right. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. I'm excited about that. Very excited about that. Okay. Now I'm going to put on the screen my the name change that I did, and of course, let's see. I want to just do this one little thing. Before I put it on the screen. That's really good. That's great information. That's what we need. Okay. And let me pull this back just a little bit. That's beautiful information. Okay. So then that will be what we use to nolo. Okay. Okay. Now, all right, I'm going to put my name change document on the screen. It's the Universal Sovereign Appellation and Proclamation Affidavit, so that we can read through it and and just to give you an example of what to study. See, that's the thing about the study is when we start the study, if we continue to be open to teaching and learning and sharing and all of that, we're going to get all the right answers. We're going to get all the right answers. It's impossible for us not to get all the right answers because the ancestors keep speaking. So I'm going to share with you on the screen. Let me select an item to share. And now, tell me if you can, hopefully you can see a Universal Sovereign Appellation and Proclamation Affidavit. Is that visible on the screen?
Not yet. Did you hit the last one to share it?
It's
actually?
showing.
Yeah. Okay, now
Okay.
it's showing. Yes, now it's showing.
On there? Okay, good. Good.
Now it's not. It's gone.
Yeah, it's left.
It left. Put it back.
Somebody talked
Okay, hold
about
on.
it
Let me
and
see if I can get it
there
back.
There it is again.
Now
Okay, good. Good. Thank you. Okay. Now, this is how, and this is again for you to study because you may get a revelation that comes to you from the ancestors too, as well, based on what we know about how we're continuing to invoke our sovereignty. So it says, now remember, on the day that I crowned the Stargate, my sovereign mother, who was sovereign from day one, in other words, sovereignty is nunc pro tunc. It's now for them. And it's now for them when we speak. So she spoke the sovereign appellation of Pauline Denise Ritchie on that day. And on that day, that estate was created. But on the side also, the war documents and all of that stuff kicked in as well against our, unbeknownst to us. that those were war documents, okay? So there was not full disclosure on the war documents. Meanwhile, the estate is still sitting there. The creditor is born. So the first paragraph of the Universal Sovereign Appellation and Proclamation Affidavit reads as such. I, Pauline Denise Ritchie, in Capitis nolo, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredis, being duly affirmed, standing squarely, declare and proclaim under divine law, nature's law, universal law, Moorish birthrights, and if you look at the spelling of birthright, you will see there that birthrights is spelled like earth with a B. That is how we spell it. And again, we're the Phoenicians and the Greeks too. We determine how something is spelled because we're casting the spell.
And the Romans and the Babylonians and the...
Oh, yes. Yes. All of those. We're all of those in the indigenous one. Islam. Moorish birthrights, international law, and constitutional law declare and state, I, Pauline Denise Ritchie, in Capitis nolo, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, and in proprio heredis, being previously unlawfully identified by the Union State Society of North America, or the USA, and it's also the unum sanctum. Yes. Okay. Under the colorable wardship name of Pauline Denise Ritchie, and this one has the first letter capitalized and the rest smaller. That is not us. That's part of the capitalist system. And I'm continuing to read, and the corporate nom de guerre war name of Pauline Denise Ritchie, which is not even a name, that's a picture, but it's in all capital letters. Neither one of those are the Moors. Neither one. Neither one of those is us. Okay? And we do hereby rebut the fraud and proclaim our true sovereign status. Okay? And then I'll let you read the rest of it. It's up there on the screen. But again, we want to always make sure that the things that we're learning, okay, and the things that we're finding out about us, that we study them. Study them. Don't take anyone's word for it. Study it. Don't take my word for it. Study it, so that you can stand on what you do and what you say. Now.
Yeah, don't take her word for it. Just ask her about the liens and stuff like that.
Well,
ask
okay,
them about ask her about the all the people that are in Guantanamo Bay.
Let me just,
you know how to silence them.
I'll just get him out of here. I'll get him out.
Yeah,
it's
come
fine.
get him out.
It's fine. It's fine. He's out. Yeah, that's crazy. He likes to come and visit our group and do that. That's what it is. But we love him still. Okay. So when we put it in all lowercase letters, and again, do your study. Do your own study. Don't take anyone's word for it. Do your study so that you know, okay? Now, I was saying in Capitis deminutio minima, and then Justice Giramore brought in Capitis nolo, which is absolutely what we want to say. That is the correct term for what we want to say. And hold on for just a moment. Let me just make sure, because I may even have to lock the meeting if there's going to be any disruption. Let's see. And I think for just a moment I'm going to lock it just to be sure that he does not come back and interrupt, because he loves us. He absolutely loves us. We love him too, but we can't have that in the meeting. So now, during my study, as I was studying all of this, okay, I came across, the ancestors, as they always do, and you all can attest to this because they do it to you too. where when you're studying something and you're looking online or you're looking somewhere for some information, something will pop up out of nowhere. And it seems like it's out of nowhere, but it's exactly what you need to see to support what you're saying. So as I was studying this, and some of you have seen it on social media, I just so happened to go to the website for the Masonic Lodge, the Grand Lodge of Washington Corporation. I went to their website and I was just looking around, haphazardly just looking around, because I don't even know what I was looking for. Actually, I do, because the ancestors showed it to me. But I came across where they're telling one another and other the heads of the lodges, those Masonic lodges, the Albions that the Albions are unlawfully occupying, by the way. They are telling one another that when they report to the Internal Inquisition Revenue Service to try to get a benefit, that they put their name in all lowercase letters with no middle initial. And aside from in Capitis, deminutio, minima, and mediana, and maxima, and nolo, and all of those things that have come up, that affirmed for me, and I posted it there, that first of all, I know why they have the Prince Hall Masons there. And this is not a slight against them. You know, we were all asleep. But they're using their status and putting their names in, okay, and then they'll surround those sovereign names that they don't even know are sovereign, because Prince Hall Masons, if they knew they were the sovereign, they wouldn't stick to that oath. And again, that's not a slight against them. It's just that it is the fact that we were asleep, and the Prince Hall Masons are, you know, a lot of them are asleep and don't really know yet that they are the sovereigns of the land, and that all of the other Masonic lodges are eating off of their status. And so when they report, usually those lodges will have just one of us, one more. And I've never been a part of a lodge or anything like that, and never will be. But they will always usually have just one sovereign that doesn't know they're sovereign, that wants to fit in with that group for whatever reason, and that's not a slight against them. It just is. And they will, and now we're seeing on their website that when they report any benefits or anything to the Inquisition Revenue Service, which is the overlay, which is the corporate fraud, when they report to the corporate fraud says, okay, since all of these names are in lowercase letters, all of you get whatever benefits you get. And we, you know, all we do is lean the Inquisition Revenue Service and lean them out of the way, lean the corporate, lean the in Capitis deminutio maxima, lean the in Capitis deminutio mediana, and lean the in Capitis deminutio minima too for them, for all corporations that are attempting to do just that right there. But they have to have at least one sovereign on the list. You know, back in the day when we were asleep, they used to call it the token black. Okay, that's what they used to call it. And it's not the reason they call it a token is because that's the way in. Now, we're not black. We know we're not black. We're not Negro, black, colored, and African American. We're Moors. But the sleeping Moor won't know that everybody else is eating off of them. And when the Inquisition Revenue Service, the fake one, looks at the documents, all they need to find is one sovereign whose information matches a sovereign status, which all of us have a sovereign status. Even in their books, we have a sovereign status. And when the Inquisition Revenue Service looks and sees just one name on the list that says that's a sovereign, because they got it. They got that information. They know that we're sovereign and that all benefits on this land comes through us. Then they will say, okay, we spot checked this list and everything adds up. So everybody on the list gets the benefit. Everybody gets the free meal ticket because we saw one sovereign. That's why they always have one of us there. That's why. Because then that fraudulent Inquisition Revenue Service will look at it, and the Inquisition Revenue Service may even be hinted on who the sovereign is to make their work easier. And they'll say, check that one right there. And when they check that one with the list of sovereigns who get the benefit, who really should be getting benefit off of their own land, who the real creditor is, because we're the creditors, then they'll say, okay, everybody on this list is good because we checked the list. Well, they checked it, but they didn't check to see that the rest of them were fraudulently assuming our status. So the rest of them, all they did was put everything in Capitis nolo and all in lowercase letters, and then put one sovereign in there. And when we put our appellations in all lowercase letters, even in their system, it says we are who we are. And yes, they use other qualifiers, and those qualifiers don't look the same as the stuff they've been showing us, like Social Security cards. They show us that's fraud. The birth certificates are fraud. They're showing they're showing us the fraudulent part, the fraudulent face, and then on the other side, they all know that it's something totally different. It's different because we now know how to read. So now, what do we do with the information that we have? Okay. Islam Empress, she put in the chat, numerous tokens here in Michigan territory for them to eat off of. It's numerous of us everywhere for them. And you know, a lot of times those who have risen in the quote unquote corporate ranks are usually that one token. Those who have risen in the corporate ranks, I was one of them and did not know at the time like what the big deal was. But they need at least one of us at all of the ranks, Oprah, to carry all the rest of them, to hold up all the rest of them. Now, this is some information they don't want to get out there. Okay? But that's why at every level, they'll take one of us and say, look, see, there's the success story right there.
Too late, Empress, it's out.
Yes, it is.
And we're
yes,
not
it is.
Going to make it go back in.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And now they can't use that status anymore because they're finding out. Now there's only a certain number of heirs, you know. And they know who we are already. So now what happens when the real heirs speak up? When the real heirs speak up, that number goes out of whack. Then they start looking at everybody like, well, wait a minute. There's only supposed to be 144,000 heirs. Who are all these other people? Because I'm showing 250,000 heirs because those people, those over there put on the public record that they're the heirs. So now they start looking at everything that everybody's doing. And that's why all of a sudden people are dropping off out of the picture. Someone said the other day that 220 or more CEOs have stepped down just in the start of 2020. Well, they got there by the benefits, using the benefits and the name of the Moor, the appellation and the status of the Moor that we didn't know about. That's why they're always sure to hire just one of us. All they need is one for their whole, to carry the whole corporation. Yes, we do know that Bill Gates did step down recently. Islam, you know, the ancestors don't lie. I'm telling you, they do their thing. They do what they do. We know without a doubt that they did not bring us here and to not give us the answers. They do not play. That's why you always want to keep your spirit clean and stuff, because they even help us clean our spirit too, of anger and war energy and fear and frustration and fiat energy and things like that. Those and war, you know, all of that. All of that is war energy. Islam, one of the empresses in the chat said, Empress Crystal Johnson, they said that step down equals arrested. Possible. Very, very possible, because if they are using our status, okay, unlawfully, and then the real heir steps up, then there's a problem. That's a problem. The Inquisition Revenue Service, who has been leaned, and now the people that were there to do the real paperwork of making sure that no more is taxed, because that's really what's supposed to be going on over there, and that the Moors get their tax payments given to them, because that's what was supposed to be going on too. You all know that all these corporations were supposed to be paying taxes to the Moors. And that's what that service was set there for, was to make sure that we got our tax payment from the corporations. We're not taxed, they are. But they were using in Capitis nolo and making sure that there's always one more on the list. And that one more could have held up every employee of Microsoft. Just one of us. That's what sovereignty really means.
Islam?
That's each one of you. Islam.
And that is the reason why they find ones that will take the coin to sell out their kin. They find them and they use them, and and those participate willingly. That is a dirty Moor.
Yes. Yes. Because guess what? Once you get to once they determine and pick you and say, okay, that's the one we're going to use to uphold everybody else and to get everybody else benefits, so that we'll tell the Inquisition Revenue Service to just look at that one right there. We got one right there. And if they have one heir right there, then everybody else is good. And so they pick one, but that one has to agree to step on necks of their brothers and sisters. Come on now. We have to agree. We would have to agree if we were going to be the one that they pick, because most of us, they're not even going to bother with picking. They just try and eject us on out because they know we're not going to do that stuff. Okay. Someone keeps asking about the class from last week. So the video didn't come out like it was supposed to. It came out as an MP3. So we're going to have to I have the recording though, the audio recording of the class from last week. And what we'll do is put some video over the sound track. And it'll be of the documents so that you can see them. Okay. Islam, to all that's going on in the chat, I love it. That all of that is absolutely true. So again, they always have one that they elevate really high, and that one has to do a whole bunch of stuff to get up there, so that by the time they get to the top, if anyone questions, well, you have a Moor there, and Moors are the law and they are the government. They can point to that one, Bill Cosby, and say, oh, I won't call any names. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Or maybe I did. I don't know.
Or Jay-Z.
Anyway, yeah, all of that, all of those. When they get to the top, then the Albions can point to them, Tavis Smiley, and say, well, they're not so perfect. Look what they're doing.
Yes.
And in fact, since they're doing all of that, we can just throw them in jail. Now that the real heirs are stepping up and know who they are, we don't need that one anymore because it's not helping us. We can't use them.
Right.
Islam to the grand rising of the Moors.
Mm-hmm.
So our sovereign status, everyone's been using it. They can't use it anymore, and so they're leaving off the scene. And now we have to, this is going to be the part where, I've been asking the ancestors to help me to process the use of our sovereign status, because everything that's been used to get a leg up in that system is a resource that we use, but we can't use it in that system the way they did. We have to be out of that system. We have to come all the way out of the capitalist system. Capitalism is how they did all that they did. Is they just capitalized your appellation, your name. They capitalized it. And then they put that on paychecks and court cases, quote unquote court cases, because, those fake courts, they're fake. They even capitalized all of that. And that's why all that they do is in Capitis diminutio maxima, or all capital letters. Because they cannot do anything, and then you wonder, well, why is it that that they don't even show up for quote unquote court cases? Why is that? Well, it's because they're exercising in Capitis nolo, which they don't have a right to exercise.
Islam. If I could add one little caveat at this point. People, they are currently, and Brother Taj has been very diligent talking about this, the de factos who are fallen are currently trying to rise up again by using the census. Any more that is doing and complying with the census, you're complying with your own imprisonment, and you should let the people know that, even if you're a little hesitant to talk about it, let them know. Do not comply with anything with that census, because whoever numbers you in that way has control of you. That's how it started the first time, and that's how it goes now. Islam. Uh-oh. I think I stepped out. Oh.
I'm sorry, I muted myself to honor hearing you and hearing what you have to say. Sorry about that, Justice. So I'm going to put another few pieces of the puzzle together, and then we'll tell you what we are going to do as a nation about it, okay? And again, I do the Noble in the chat asked a very important question. I'm so glad you asked. Noble Apollo LaFrance L. said, Islam, can we make our own ID card? You absolutely can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You are sovereign. All Moors are sovereign and can make their own ID cards. And I'll even post a copy of my ID card on the internet so you can see how, if you want to make yours the same way I made mine, or Justice Abbasi made mine. Justice Abbasi is all that. I just love him so much because he really trusted in what I was saying, even though I was not able to explain everything to him at the time, but he did it anyway. And I don't have a problem sharing mine out there because it's just so it's powerful. But another piece of the puzzle that the Albions know is this, that, and we've had issues with this because they tried to scare us away from all of this. We know that the Social Security number is fraud. It is fraud. It's the biggest fraud. It's, aside from the name, it's the biggest fraud. Now, number one is fraud because there should be no minus signs in anything the creditors do. Creditors don't do minus signs, okay? Creditors don't do minus signs. And another reason it's fraud is because when you look on the back of a $1 bill, there are 2 seals on there. And those 2 seals are supposed to be, like the prophet said, we're going to leave the Albion here long enough to teach you how to govern. Our government, the Moorish National Republic federal government, which is all of you, all of us, all Moors are part and parcel of their government. And remind me to play the video at the end of the class so that we can see that Consular General Tarik Bey talking about that. All Moors are part and parcel of their government. We were supposed to be issuing our own everything so that we can remain outside of that system, but tell that system what to do. The system was put here so that we would have dominion over it, just like we have dominion over all subjects and all of that, and every creeping thing. Okay? But you can't have dominion over a system if you're in it, because then you're just a part of it. And whoever is over that system has dominion over you if you consent to that. So we have to come all the way out. How do we come out? We terminate all corporate contracts. All of them. And I posted my termination out there. It's in Capitis nolo at this point. Because I went back and redid all of my documents in red ink, in Capitis nolo, using no capital letters, and then I've signed them all, etc. Okay? Even our letterhead is in Capitis nolo. Okay? And when you look back on all of the old documents that our ancestors put out there, they're in Capitis nolo too. And I'm looking at what's in the chat. Okay. And so with regard to that number, the number with all capital letters, when you look on that fraudulent card that's issued, it's issued in all capital letters, and those numbers have minus signs so that we know that that's fraud. We rebut that publicly. But then what our government, and this is our rebuttal to that, our rebuttal our first rebuttal that goes on the public record is the name change, like the one that I just posted on the screen, that says we're in Capitis nolo, all lowercase letters, etc. Okay? And then our next rebuttal to the birth certificate, which is a debt, war, military document. Okay, the reason it's a military document is because from the moment it's created, it starts warring against the American people, the sovereign. That's why it's a military document, because it immediately begins to work to put debt onto the heirs that the heirs don't have. We don't have any debt. And as I was stating in the beginning of this class, that's another reason why we are so highly, sovereignly, supremely positioned. Because we own everything and we don't have any debt, and we have not used our credit, our creditor status. And credit for us does not mean that somebody is giving us anything but what is already ours. So we don't fill out credit applications because we don't have to. We do affidavits. Now, so our government rebuttal to the Social Security number is a sovereign security number. And feel free, you all, to make that do the study. Don't do anything until you do the study. Please don't do anything. It's issued by your government, which is you. And you can pick any number you want. Someone asked in the chat, can we create our own MAC numbers? You can create whatever you want. You're the sovereign. If it applies to you, you can create it. We're here to offer assistance in creating those things, but ours is just to assist you until you can stand and create your own. Okay? That's what we're here for, is to assist you in standing on your 2 feet. And in the video that I'm going to show at the end of this teaching, Grand Sheik Tarik Bey talks about that briefly. He mentions how, he's here to assist until we can stand on our own. And that's what we're doing. Okay? And so I'll post, for our next class, I'll post a copy of my sovereign security number and how it reads and what it says on our government letterhead. Okay? Yes, I will do that. Nobility Apollo LaFrance L is saying, Islam, would you mind putting some examples of the name change forms, etc., in the file section in the Facebook group? It's the Moorish American Consulate any Facebook group, or I'm sorry, Moorish American Consulate Public Records Facebook group. I will do that. Yes, I will. And in fact, I'll post my own documents because those are the ones I used to do the last demonstration that I did, where Chase, J.P. Morgan Chase from Jamie Dimon's office sent something back, and on the envelope he put Moorish National Republic Federal Government, and it wasn't in all capital letters, it was in Capitis, deminutio, minima. So they acknowledged who we are, but they still didn't do it in Capitis nolo, and so we don't accept it. It's unacceptable because it must be right. It must be the way we say, not the way they say, because we're not even with them. We are superior and sovereign in our status. So I've sent out to the 7 locations, and there's a stack of these documents. One of them is the name change. The other is a universal, sovereign, original, indigenous affidavit, a living birth affidavit. And I spelled birth B-E-A-R-T-H. So it's like earth with the letter B attached. And it is a sovereign, living birth affidavit. And I'll share that as well, because I don't mind sharing everything out there that I have. And I've been using it in my demonstrations, and they can't do anything but get on out the way. And so the part that once we do these documents, because all of us do need to do them in red, we need to sign them in red. But again, do not make a move until you do your study, and you're convinced, and you know that this is what you should do. Okay? We know that what we've been doing has been working. Now we need to ensure that as we proceed, we continue to grow in competence. Okay? My only, and it's not a concern, it is an observation, is that when we put these documents out there, some Moors expect things to happen overnight right then. Okay. Okay, Justice Abasi will address that. Let me complete this thought. My only, it's not a concern, it's an observation, is that Moors, when they first put the documents out, and things are happening faster and faster, we see that. But when we put the documents out, let's give it, just take a breath and give it a minute for the documents to reach their location and to get, and to do what we want the documents to do. Okay, so that's my only observation, is that sometimes Moors will do it and then they expect the next day that, you know, everything is what they have commanded. And as we can see, just based on the work that has been done over the last 2.5 years since we've been a consulate, because we were a consulate, so we became the Moorish American Consulate on May 18th of 2018. Now we can see where it's almost like everything was going in a straight line, and now the changes are happening so fast that we're rising vertically. You know, all of the occupiers are jumping ship. The gatekeepers are honoring the Moorish sovereign status when we come with our documents. And so we have to do the work and then hold it just a minute, take a deep breath and hold for a moment. Give it a chance to get to the ages, principles, heirs, and assigns, and then we do the demonstration that's associated with that affidavit that we've sent, okay? Now, I've sent a series of documents, and I can tell you what those documents are. And then we'll show you, for those who are interested in doing their documents this way, you can look and see what those documents are that we put on the public record that have just been really causing the earth to move in our favor. Let me grab my list real quick. And again, I am positive, without a doubt, that it's because of the competence level of the documents that have been going out by the Moors in this manner that that things have the trajectory has gone through the roof. So Justice Abasi, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, Justice Abasi. He did my sovereign ID card, and he was not comfortable with putting it in all lowercase. This particular name in all lowercase, he was not comfortable with that, and I get that, because he was saying he was associating this all lowercase name, which is the true estate, with these in Capitis deminutio, okay, which is the loss of status names. He was associating that and I get it, feeling that it was the same as the all caps and the one with the capital letter at the beginning and all lowercase. Neither one of those is us. Those are debtors. They are debtors to the Moors. The all caps name is a debtor to the Moors, and in fact, that's unlawful. And the name with one letter capitalized and the rest lowercase is a subject, and completely subject to the Moors. Now, that's what these Albions are supposed to use at all times. That's why they taught us to write this way, because that's for them, that's not for us. We were never supposed to be in their education system. They taught us what they should be doing. not what we should be doing. And then when they taught us this, they then made it into this. We had to agree to the name that starts with a capital letter. We had to agree to that fraud. That's not right either. That's not us. And once we agreed to that, and our parents didn't tell us differently when we went home and showed them our little writing, the more, you know, and that's not a shot at our parents. I mean, everyone knows how I feel about my parents. I love them and honor them. But they did not know when I came home with this writing that says Pauline Denise Ritchie with the P capitalized and the D capitalized and the R capitalized, that was a lowering of my status. They didn't know that. And guess who was not going to tell them? Because they were busy in their lodges using in Capitis nolo and pretending to be us. And if we're not using it and they are using it, then from those who are looking at the records and not looking at photos, they're just looking at forms. From their perspective, the heirs are still speaking. But it's not the heirs, it's fakes. Okay? So some of the documents that I put together for myself, and I'll put them out there at some point in the public records page. I wanted to teach on it a few times first before I put them out there so that it would be clear what they meant and what they are. Okay? In the chat, it says, for overstanding Empress Light, do you have two forms of Moorish ID, one with your appellation and another with the estate appellation? I do. I have the one that was issued to me by one of the the Moorish government ID issuers who was doing IDs, and they're still doing IDs today. We honor them. I have an ID from them as the Moorish government, and that one is in Light Tajiri Bay. Okay, that is my Light Tajiri Bay is my chosen sovereign free national appellation, and I love it because I got to pick that one. It's in Capitis nolo also. Okay. Yes, and they're asking if this is going to be available on another platform. I'm going to put it on YouTube. Again, Free Conference Call has been only offering me MP3s instead of MP4s of the teaching, so I have to then go behind them and put documents to what I'm teaching, to the audio, in order to make it a video and then uploading it. I'll do whatever I have to do to get the teaching out there so that you can study it. Okay. Some of the documents that I did was the sovereign ID card, and yes, I do have that. And then I have my ID card that Justice Abasi did, and I'm so grateful that he trusted in me enough to do it for me, so that and he gave me the opportunity to do my own study and then teach on it. Okay, so I honor him for that, because that's not something that you know that we do for one another. We don't trust one another enough. And he does. So I'm just so grateful for that. He created the ID, he sent me a copy of it, and I've been able to use it in my demonstrations that I'm actually getting these people to do what we tell them to do. So the sovereign ID card in the estate name in Capitis nolo, in no capital letters, and then under the name Pauline Denise Ritchie in all lowercase letters, I put I asked Justice Abasi to put in propria persona sui juris, and you all can have him to put that under yours too. He has the template for that. If you want your IDs to look like the one that I did, you can do that. But again, do the study first. Okay, do the study first so that you can stand on what you're doing. Now, all you have to do in order to know that what we're saying is right is go to the Masonic Lodge of Washington, D.C. It's called the Grand Lodge of Washington. Go to their website, and you can see where they're using all lowercase letters. And the system won't, the benefit system, the beneficiary system won't know any different because it's Access and Excel database driven. Okay? So it's going to see a whole bunch of names in lowercase letters and give everybody the benefit. But then when it turns around and sees these fake birth certificates that have been issued, that our government did not stand up and rebut, so we hold some responsibility too. That's the reason why we are all part and parcel of our government, is because each one of us bears the responsibility to save ourselves in this from this capitalism system. So we all can create these documents, and that's why we're putting them out there, so that you can create them yourself, and then you can do the study on them so that you can stand on them. Okay? So their systems, the Inquisition Revenue Service, the driver's license place, all of those fraudulent places that have been violating the Moors like crazy, those places, their systems are Access and Excel based. So Microsoft's part in this, and this is why they were first on my list, because I thought about this 2 years ago. Microsoft has those programs out there, and all they had to do in their little systems, because, you know, that's why they got all the corporations to get Microsoft-based systems, Excel systems, and Access database systems. They got everybody to do that, and then they told them, if you capitalize all the names in the system, it will look uniform. And so the programmers just did what they were told. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. And they capitalized all of our names and then began to violate all those corporations. The DMVs have Microsoft-based databases. They do. All of them. The policy enforcer systems have all capitalist systems that capitalize all the names unlawfully. And that's why when we put these documents on the public record saying, no, in Capitis nolo, baby, we're not doing any of that. We're not playing that capitalism game. Okay? And when you put that on the public record and then you send it out to everybody, the 7 locations, and you send it to the policy enforcers and everyone, to let them know that that's not you, that you're using your true sovereign status that they've been using behind closed doors in the lodges and in the Skull and Bone Society. Right? Skull and Bones. They put everything in Capitis nolo for them. And then they'll let one of us in, one more in, who's blindfolded and don't know. And everybody in there is getting benefits because of that one more, whose ignorance of the law is no excuse for them either. That's why we don't join that mess. Oops, excuse me, it's not mess because it's our stuff too. All of that stuff belongs to the Moors. Okay. Uh-oh. And I think it just booted me out from the screen because they don't, that's, okay, let me see if I can get back in.
You can still be heard when you were talking,
okay.
But the screen froze.
Yeah. Yeah, it's having me to sign back in. But anyway, so Skull and Bones has been using it, and I believe they call them Skull and Bones because it is my understanding that if at any time during their time on this earth they step into our status like that, they actually lose their lives for doing that. Now that's something that I saw in a video called War Castle, It was one of the war castle videos where one of the Albions was explaining, he's from Australia territory, and he was explaining that if the administrator of that fake system ever steps into the place of the creditor, that they die, that they will surely die. Okay, and I'm finding that to be truth, especially now that we're waking up. I'm finding that that's truth. Now, are we causing all of that? I happen to believe that we're God and we cause everything to happen. We create everything. But we have to do it competently and with our eyes wide open. Okay? And that's what we're doing. So, in Capitis Nolo, our sovereign ID card is in Capitis Nolo, and mine has MAC as the sovereign security number. I put MACW, and then I put the same sequence of numbers as their fake social security number, except it has no dashes, and it's issued by our government as a Moorish American Consulate West number. Now, you all do not have to do that. You don't have to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it, please. Do your studies first. But I know that when our government stands up, they have to take a seat. And the only reason they were able to do what they were able to do and use our status is because we were not using it. Okay? Now, another thing that I did was my appellation change affidavit. Also, the living birth affidavit, which I'll show you in the next in our next class next Sunday. The termination of corporate contracts. Okay, that way none of that corporate stuff applies. Okay, none of it applies. And I'm actually in the process of updating my termination of corporate contracts to include in Capitis Nolo that phrase. And that phrase is also going to be a part of my personam jurisdiction statement that I use if I'm confronted. And I don't expect confrontation because you don't argue with subjects. But just to put on the public record, so that the public, because public means servant, so that the servants know, I am Pauline Denise Ritchie in Capitis Nolo, in propria persona sui juris, in proprio solo, in proprio heredis. No United States corporation company citizen has personam jurisdiction over me or any more. Okay? And then what I did was I did a lien on both the wardship name and the all caps. The wardship name is that one that has the first letter capitalized and the rest of those letters lowercase. That's still a ward of the state.
Capitis deminutio.
That is what it is. That is what it is.
That's Capitis deminutio minima.
Yes, it is. Absolutely it is.
Yes.
So that's why I leaned it, because it's going to do what we tell it to do. It's not going to just run rampant and be used to beat us over the head with our own, all of our own stuff. All of our own, resources and stuff are being withheld from us. And then every time they withhold it, they present us with a bill that has that trash on it. Or they attempt to present us with one, because we already know they can't give us no paper. The dead can only speak to the dead, and we're very much alive, clearly, as you can see. So, and then aside from the lien on both, and guess who did the lien on the wardship and the all caps name? The all lowercase Pauline Denise Ritchie did a lien. She's the sovereign, original, indigenous estate heir creditor her sovereign mother spoke her sovereign appellation on the day she crowned that sovereign stargate. My mother and all of our mothers met us right there and spoke the estate to us and made us the estate. Then I did a command to appear in sovereign Moorish American Consular Court on anybody attempting to use in Capitis deminutio on me. I call them into court. We have a court date, another sovereign, original, indigenous command to appear in court that we'll be doing on the 27th, I believe. Let me take a look at the announcement. Yes, we have our calls of action. Date commanded to appear is Tuesday, March 24th, 2020 at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which will be 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I won't tell you who it is, but it'll be out on social media so you can see who's being called into our court. And they're stepping aside like crazy. The ones that we're calling into our court, and each and all more should be calling anyone attempting to use in Capitis deminutio on you. You should be calling them in to find out who it is that's acting like they don't know who the heirs are. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a skull and bones somebody that was using your status to get their tax breaks and blah, blah, blah. And we don't get tax breaks because we're not taxed at all. But that's all they could do with it. They can only do so much because they're not the heirs anyway. And not once did they ever hinder or touch our estate. Our estate still is more valuable today than it was when we crowned the Stargate, because it's been upgraded. And that's why the servants are here. They were here to upgrade our estate, to enrich us and to make us wealthier. And then when they got done doing all that they're doing, we stepped into we let them know who's who by stepping into our status. And we don't have to let them know. They already know. We just need to know. So we're not even trying to prove anything to them because they already know. Command to appear in sovereign court for anybody, anyone who sends something to your mailing location, you should be calling them into your sovereign court. All of you are justices, all of you are consuls, call them into court. Look on YouTube, and there are more and more who are posting their court actions on YouTube and on social media, on other venues, social platforms, so that you can see the wording and the language that we use in order to put these corporations out of here, to get them off our land. And then we issue a sovereign arrest command as well, with a copy of the treaty and a copy of the cover, and I usually put a copy of the cover of the Holy Quran, issued by, as written by our Prophet Noble Jew Ali, with all of my court actions. And everything that I send out, I usually put a copy of the cover of the Holy Quran, of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science that he wrote. That's important. Because, again, our prophet must be the head of the movement. And by putting that in with the actions, we're letting them know that our prophet told us who we were. He told us who we were, and he brought us everything we needed to save ourselves, and that's what we're doing. You've got a court date. Now, people say, well, they never appear. Well, there are many of us who we saw that fake stuff coming, and we didn't show up in their fake venue. They mailed some fake stuff to the mailing location. That's not for me. It's in Capitis deminutio maxima. So, of course, you're not talking to me. You're talking to one of your pinnacles, not me. So what we do is, when they do that stuff, we just send them something saying, you have a court date because you're unlawfully occupying our land. And we don't even address what they send because they're not talking to us. All they're doing is providing us with proof that they're unlawfully occupying our land. Okay? In the chat, Empress Sophie L says, Islam, so if there are over 60 people in one case, do you call them all or the CEOs? That's your choice. If you know the names of the people, of the foreign occupiers For example, if it's a phone company attempting to sell you something that's already yours, then, and you know the names of three of the frontline people, then what I do is I call the three frontline people and the CEO and maybe the vice president or the president or the chairman of the board, those doing business as those names. I call them in to court and I get them all. And when I put their name on the command to appear, I put their name in Capitis, deminutio, mediana, or minima, which is putting their names with the first letter capitalized, and then I put doing business as, and whatever they're doing business as, I put that in all capital letters, since they want to do capitalism. But see, again, they can't exist on this land without those capital letters, unless they're fraudulently taking our status. And so sometimes the Moors say, I can't wait till they get off our land. They will when you stand up and be yourself, because they don't have anywhere else to go. They can't be in all lowercase letters. That's preserved and reserved for the heirs. And anyone who does it, when the heirs step up, they start stepping out of the way, because they were never supposed to do that in the first place. So now, what does that mean for us? Once we get all of these documents, and I'm going to be doing these demonstrations because I'm learning as we go as well, as you can see. Justice Jeremore pointed something very important out. And again, we're going forward with this teaching, and we know the ancestors are not ever going to get us out here and leave us hanging. They're going to show us the right way if we're willing to listen and learn. Always be open to learning, okay? And that's, I'm talking to me first, okay? So we're finding out that we are the beneficiaries through this method of in Capitis nolo. And when issued by our government, because again, they need to see that we're the government, or else nothing applies. And that's been the issue. Our government has not been issuing, with the exception of the ones who've been doing the work. And I'm going to go ahead and give props. RV Bay Publications, much high honors to them for issuing ID cards to us while, you know, as we were just waking up. That is who issued my first ID card before I got mine from Justice Abbasi. And then even before then, just a moment, let me see where that's coming from. And then even before then, I created my own ID card because I just wanted to see, and I used it. Okay, and no one could tell me I wasn't who I said I was. And so we all have that option because the sovereigns are part and parcel of the government, and we are the law. So each one of you, if you want to create your own ID cards, you can. Now, this is what I suggest that you do that. But if we hear somebody that's, you know, talking about ID cards are $1,200 and blah, 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 come on, Moors, don't do that. Don't go there. In the video that I show you at the end, it'll be Grand Sheik Tashri Bey talking about that very same thing. It's a very short video, but it brings out some very important points about our creditor status and about how we're going to proceed, okay? And again, we're proceeding now because the environment and the time is right for us, okay? Now, this whole, and that brings me to another point. This whole coronavirus piece, okay? Corona means crown, and I'll let that marinate, okay? And so I'll move past that and say this. their quarantines and their all the stuff that they're doing with regard to a coronavirus does not apply to the heirs at all. You will not hear of any heirs getting that. And if anyone puts a story out there, and again, you know, they haven't put a story out there yet except one, and I don't even know, his mother may be in Albion, I don't know. But they waited this long to put a story out there because that has no effect on the heirs. Okay. And all of the things that they say with regard to the coronavirus don't have anything to do with us. We're not in that jurisdiction. We're not in the coronavirus jurisdiction. We're not. That is a capitalist system. Okay? And that has nothing to do with us. So when they do quarantines and things like that, we just ensure that we are competent to invoke personam jurisdiction in Capitis nolo. And that is another reason why we notify everyone before anything happens, okay? Before the attempt to denationalize is made, before the attempt to capitalize and use the capitalist system on the heirs is made. We notify everyone. In the chat, it says, if you're talking about the basketball player, his mother is now beyond. Okay, I figured as much, but I didn't do the research because didn't have time to. That's what I was thinking, because that's the only way you can get it. All viruses come from animals, and they're for animals. Okay? And we're not animals. And, you know, it might seem like it's mean, but this is not about feelings and beliefs. This is about science. Scientifically, we're not animals. It is an animal virus, and it affects animals. It does not affect the heirs. And that's where mother comes in. That mother has given us a bloodline where that is not the case for us. So I'll let you do your study on that, and about how when we went into their education systems, they told us we had 46 chromosomes when really they have 46 chromosomes. And the rhesus monkey has 48 chromosomes, and we only have 24 chromosomes because we are the all, and all others come from us. I'll let you do your study on that. I won't say any more on that for now. And so mother is the one whose Stargate you come through. My mother, and I won't get off too far into that, but her, what they called a maiden name, but it's really her sovereign name, is Lawhorn, which I absolutely love. That means that she was to trumpet the law in one way or another. And, you know, so I love that. Let's see. With regard to benefits and all of that, the things that are being done on our land, we are to seek first the kingdom, and all of those things will be added unto us. Seek to know what in Capitis nolo is about. And in order for you to know what is not us, you first have to know what is us, or who is us, who we are. I'm not going to say who is us, not that. Who we are. And the reason why I'm very, very sure and confident and competent in terms of all that we are doing is because I know who we are. So when I see something that's not us, I'm like, okay, that's not us. This is not us, that's not us, because we're this. This is who we are. Okay? And nationality is inherited from our mothers. Your mother is who gives you your bloodline. Unlike the Maury Povich show. That's the fraud. And that's not for us, that's actually for them. They get their nationality from their father. And I'll let you read in the bibliothèque who that is. Now, with regard to taking full advantage of all that's on our land, that is the part that's going to be the learning curve for us, and it's not a long learning curve, because many have already done the study. They just were trying to do it inside that system, and we can't do that. We have to terminate everything that says we're a part of the capitalism system, because the capitalism system is an overlay. It's laid on top of our estate, or it was laid on top of our estate. It's now falling apart. Okay? And that's because the Moors are speaking. And all we have to do is keep speaking, because it's by our word what is created and what is and what isn't.
Islam.
And as long as Islam.
One thing about the capitalism or capitalist system, whereby everything is capitalized, it's actually the shadow of what is. And just like we learned about the higher and lower self, that is what we're dealing with this system, is the lower self part of that system. And if we want to stay where we are, then we can be comfortable staying there as long as we want to, and stay in the dirt, a la prodigal son. Okay? And then if we want to return to where we have been always, but decided to leave because we needed to explore stuff, then we go back to learning and being the law that we have always been. And where people ask about who's your mother and who is your father and all that stuff, one of the things we have to recognize about this, and by the way, I'm doing I'll be doing a not a class, but a call-in on that. Mother, when talked about, and in the sense of who is our mother, all of our mothers is the same mother, and that's called what is referred to as zodiacus, but that even is only a deep subject, because the son can be no less than the mother, and everyone born of mother is a son, S-U-N, not S-O-N. That was because, again, the male-female thing that we talk about is really a difference in the forces that we operate with, and not what you would call I have to put some of the words together for this, but it is not what we think a physical thing, because everything comes from on high, and nothing starts at this level, nothing. And nothing ends at this level, because we are for F-O-R-E, ever, which means before and always. Islam
to that as well. I'm going to put my affidavit name or appellation change affidavit on the screen once more, and if you want to take a screenshot of it so that you can, or if you want to hit print screen on your computers, etc., feel free to do that so that you can see the wording on it and what it looks like. And then if you want to fashion something for yourself on Moorish National Republic Federal Government letterhead in all lowercase letters, feel free to do that as well. The letterhead is in red in all lowercase letters, and all Moors can use it, because all of us are part and parcel of our government. So feel free to use that letterhead with your affidavits, etc. So that we're all continuing to speak with one voice, and that actually has been a very strategically successful strategy. It's been just a super successful strategy that we all are using the same letterhead. Okay. So I'll put that back up on the screen. I'll share it here for another minute or two, just long enough for you all to let's see, where did I put it? There it is. Okay. To take a screenshot of it. Here, let me share.
Islam, I'm not seeing it.
Just a moment. It's about to go up there. Okay. Let me know if you can see it.
Islam, I see it. Islam.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. Take a look at it. Screenshot that, and then I'll scroll down. If someone will let me know that they had the opportunity to hit print screen, and then you can print it onto a blank Word page or a blank Word pad or something like that, then I'll scroll down further so that you can see the rest of it, because the rest of it is interesting too. Okay, in terms of we honor all of the documents that were placed on the record beforehand, and because we reserved all of our rights and because we exercised all of our rights nunc pro tunc, those documents are valid. Okay, let me say that to begin with. Next, let me say that we are perfecting, because we can do things, but we need to perfect. That's what the Grand Rising is the perfecting of all that we do. Okay?
Oops, sorry.
Yes, go ahead. You were about to say exactly what I'm about to say. Go ahead.
Because the perfecting is a continuing process. We do not want to get to being perfected, because then we stop.
Yes.
Stasis, Islam.
Yes. We're always open to learn, to grow. That's what humility is all about. And that's why it's best to keep humble energy, so that the ancestors can keep giving us the keys. And be willing to learn from one another. I don't care how long we've been Moors or not. There are going to be some new Moors who come and put the old Moors in the back. And by old Moors, the ones who've been doing this for longer than the new Moors have been doing it, even if it's a month longer. Some of the new Moors are going to come in with some information and some knowledge that the ancestors have shown them, that we're just going to be like, okay, let's do, look, that's out. But hey, I did my research, and my research matches what this Moor is saying. So let's see how we can implement that in order to gain some more benefit from the estate. Okay, we are the beneficiaries. We are the heirs. We're the executors and trustees and ministers and all of that as well. And our estate is not a capitalist estate. It's not. Okay? However, all of the amenities and the upgrades that have been done on our estate are our resources to use at will, unencumbered. So we thank the Albion for putting in the roads and the bridges and the infrastructure, the internet and all of that stuff. We thank them for doing that. Now that capitalism system that they use to do that with, they can go on and we're done with that system. Now we're ready to use our resources as the heirs and not as servants and not as corporations, because we never were that. We never were servants and corporations. We've always been the heirs. And now we're ready to step forward and use everything on our land in the way that we want to use it. Now, there's another part of this that's down the road, and it's really not down the road for those who want to do the demonstration now. And whenever I talk about doing demonstrations, it's only for those Moors that our demonstrations come about by what is going on in our lives that we have to set ourselves free from. So I'm a living example of that. So one of the demonstrations, once these documents in Capitis nolo, okay, because that's actually the key. That's a major, major key. Now that we see that they've been using it behind closed doors, not behind our backs, because they told us that I'm sorry. They told us that the capitalist system, they told us that that system was in place. But they covered it up with so much stuff that we didn't even bother to do the research on, well, what is capitalism? What is that based on? It's based on them taking wholly the names, the sovereign appellations of the Moors, the heirs, and capitalizing it, and then using it while we were thinking we were a citizen. So the entire capitalism system was built on us, okay, and our ignorance, and also our virtue. So now that they've done all that they're going to do, you know, because that has run its course, we stand competent to use the resources on our land that have always been
Islam, while Justice Light is dropped out, if you want to find out more about the language and easy way to do it is go and use Google Translate. That works well, and then you can go from there to gravitate to other types of reading material and study material. But everyone should really learn Spanish, which is what Noble Drew Ali recommended. He said all Moors should speak a second language, and that language should be Spanish. Islam.
Because they don't know they the people of the book, bro.
Hey, stupid. It's stupid. You got something you want to say, you can click the link and call in.
What's his name?
It's stupid. They're calling themselves the stupid. Oh, yeah.
Islam, to the question of Spanish being derived from, did I talk over someone? Spanish being derived from Latin, it actually is Moorish Latin. And it didn't just appear over the last few centuries. It was renamed to Spanish. Just like when we hear about the Spanish Inquisition, we are the Spanish who the Inquisition has been done upon. Islam.
I've chosen Latin, which is from what I'm seeing, it's pretty much the same, because nolo in Spanish or nolo in Latin means no.
Very similar, yes.
And a lot of the law from ancient times was written in Latin. Thus, in propria persona sui juris, that is Latin. In proprio solo, Latin. In proprio heredis, Latin. But it's also a Spanish is a derivative, you know, or it is a derivative of that. They are not even derivatives, but interlocking or interchangeable. And so, in Capitis, nolo is a Latin phrase. Capitis is Latin, but it's also Spanish, meaning something similar in any event. So I've chosen to learn as much Latin as possible. because when you look into the older law books, they are written as such. Okay.
Islam. That is, yes, a lot of the older law books that you find are written in Latin, because those older law books were hidden from us. And Latin was made so, quote unquote, a dead language, while it was just called Spanish. That's it. The reality is, and so Spanish has morphed into what it is in a sense, but the reason Noble Drew Ali, and I'm going direct to what I read in it, when he said that, is because already some 60 to 70% of the Americas speak Spanish, or more. So that's the reason for that. But of course, I spent some time reading and learning Latin, but I find it easy when I do Spanish to say, oh, that's what that means. Oh, okay, that's it. And so it's easy for me to cross from one to the other. Islam,
I have a question. The termination of the corporate contract, you said Facebook is a public record, and then you said something about the 7 locations. Do you have to do that? Do you have to do that with all your documents? 7 locations?
You do with your documents as your study directs that you do with your documents. We say the 7 locations because those 7 locations are kind of like targets for where the fraud and the capitalist system was put in place. For example, the attorneys, those doing business as attorneys general and doing business as secretaries of state, that is the Secretary of State. And Justice Marcel, I think you're on the line. I think it's the Secretary of State that was made the custodian of all abandoned property.
Yes.
It's either, okay. And so that's why.
I did that with my name change documents and my judicial proclamations. I've already done that once, and then I got 4 of the cards back, and then I didn't get 3 of them back, but I got 4 back. So whether I get the return, what do they call it, return receipt?
Yes.
What lawfully makes me okay? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do know what you're saying. What lawfully makes you okay is that when you deliver anything into the hand of an agent or principal or heir or assigned, then it's delivered to whoever it is that you sent it to. And that's why the post office is so important. That's why we mail everything, because when we put our documents in that prepaid slot, it's considered delivered. And that's why we keep the tracking number. The tracking number is proof of delivery, proof of service. That means we served them. And we didn't serve them because that's not even the right term, because we don't, heirs can't serve.
Okay, so
for your records, your tracking number proves that you have notified them.
So would it be safe to say send all my information to those 7 locations, whether they respond or not?
Yes, that is correct. It doesn't matter whether they respond, they're still responsible.
You don't need their response.
You don't need it.
You just notice them. You're doing courtesy for them, Islam.
Yeah, and we're giving commands. We're not asking them for anything. So we don't need to hear from them, really. We need them to just do what we tell them to do.
Okay, one more question.
That.
The Social Security Administration, that's still a part of that 7 locations, right?
Yes.
Because everything is in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Okay, so that would be my compass for me. Just keep sending everything to them.
Yes, you can do that. Do your study, but it doesn't matter whether they respond or not. We don't need a servant to keep talking. They need to serve.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm good. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you are good. You're good. You're good. And again, there's no wrong way to be sovereign. Citizens cannot be sovereign. There's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. That doesn't exist. And so as we're exercising our sovereign status on our own land, do it how your study says to do it. That's why we say when you hear things, look at it, take it into consideration, and then study. And then if you feel led by the Spirit to do something about it, do it. And again, in the chat it says affidavits must be rebutted, and if not, they are the law. You best to know that. That is the truth. And I don't mean you best know that to us. You best know that to the servants. They know that already, though. We you know, we're talking to people to those corporations that already know, the servants that already know. It's fine.
Okay, and one more question. Public record is Facebook and YouTube as well, right?
Let me tell you, the public record is anything that the public can see without a special secret code.
Okay, Islam.
That means social media, YouTube. If you do a video and if you send it in email, that's the public record. Did you know that?
I do now.
Because none of it's a secret. The NSA proved that.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And if you look at some of the things Edward Snowden did, the subject Edward Snowden, he said that everything is being captured and saved into perpetuity. He used that word, and you know they're not going to be here into perpetuity, so that's us capturing what we're doing and the grand rising of the Moors. That's us capturing our own grand rising. Isn't that something? We're pretty powerful to do that.
Yeah, Islam.
Yes. I'm putting in the chat, someone asked to put in the chat the next consular court date for, this is for me. However, there are other Moors that have consular court dates before this. Some will be done next week, etc. And they'll post them on social media, so seek them out. They usually post them on the Moorish American Consulate Public Records page. So if you go ahead and put that there, go and look at the Moorish American Consulate Public Records page, you'll see some of the court cases that are coming up, the court causes of action that are coming up. Mine is Tuesday, March 24th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. The audio dial-in number is going to be 515-606-5622, 515. And actually, we put a 1 in front of our number, 1515.
Islam, can you repeat that number again?
And I'm putting it in the chat as well.
I'm on the phone.
Okay, that's right. I'm going to repeat it. Let me just make sure it gets in the chat. 679. Okay. So it's the next consular court cause of action date for Justice Light Tajiri Bey. Actually, I am using my in Capitis nolo sovereign appellation as the creditor when I do my court actions. So I'll be doing them as Justice Pauline Denise Ritchie in Capitis nolo, in proprio persona sui juris, in proprio solo, in proprio heredes. Because that is the creditor, and the creditor is the only one who should be doing them. Even though we're the creditors, when we're in proprio persona sui juris, no matter what, appellation, as long as it's in Capitis nolo, we're good. So sovereigns, you have that authority, and you can do whatever you want with regard to that. Do your study, and then just do the demonstration. Go ahead and go for it. March 24th, 2020 at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I didn't put Pacific Standard Time, but let me put that there. Pacific Standard.
Islam. This is Valerie Barker Bay, and I will have a cause of action court section Monday, March 18th at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I want to put that in the chat, and I want every Moorish American national to attend that court session at 1 p.m. Wednesday, March 18th. And I also will put it in the public records Moorish American Public Records. Thank you, Islam.
You hear that, Morris? Please put it in the chat, Empress, so that we get that. And let me repeat the number for the one for mine, and then you can repeat the number for yours after I put mine in the chat, but I wanted to repeat it for the more who's on the phone. The call-in number for my court cause of action on March 24th at 3 p.m. is 1-515-606-5622, and the access is 679046. Okay. And then Empress, Valerie, do you want to give your information as well, your call-in number? And then Empress Jonaya, we'll get to yours as well, because the Moors need to see as many of these. Moors, all of you should be doing court causes of action. All of you in Capitis nolo, because that's the creditor. So
yes, I don't have the.
Go ahead, Empress.
This is Empress Valerie Barker Bay. I don't have my number right with me, but I will send it out through email, and I will publish it on the Moorish American Public
Records page.
Record. Yes, I will.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Empress, and thank you for your powerful demonstration. Very powerful, Empress. Very powerful. Justice Jonaya, the number for yours, the call-in number for yours. Can you put that in the chat as well?
Yes, Islam, everyone. I was looking for my link, and I haven't gotten it just yet. But as soon as I get it, I'll post it within the chat.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much. We need to know all of the court actions. We need to support one another on these court actions, these causes of action. I'm telling you, even the sleeping Moors are starting to attend the causes of action because they're just amazed that we actually have our own courts and we're doing it. We really are doing it. And we're getting listen. Those doing business as politicians are paying attention, and these are people that I grew up with when I was a sleeping Moor back in home, what they call quote unquote the hometown. We're loving that they are now knowing who they are, because of what the Moors are doing. So all of you should be doing court causes of action. Let us know about them. Put them on the Moorish American Consulate Public Records page so we can support one another. Let's support one another. All it takes is picking up the phone and listening in and giving an Islam at the end. Listen to what they're doing, learn from them, and then do it. Islam.
Yes, indeed.
Islam. Okay.
Islam, like Jerry Bay, can you repeat the number for me?
Yes, it is 1-515-606-5622. The access code is 679046. Again, the access code is 679046.
Islam, I appreciate that.
Yes, Islam. Looking forward to seeing you there, nobility. Okay. Are there any other questions about the things that we have shown today with the name change? Oh, I do want to show you the other part of the name change document that I have, that I was showing you on. Let me see. Am I still screen sharing that? Yes, I am. Okay. Now, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom part of that. Okay. Now, if you look at it says the Free Moorish American Zodiac Constitution, the United States Territories, Department of Justice, Moorish American Credentials, AA 222141, Truth A1. If you will notice, That is in Capitis nolo as well. United States Supreme Court, Supreme Law Acts of State. These are all places that talk about the Moors and that talk about the rights of indigenous people, etc. When our ancestors first put all of that stuff in place, they put it in place in Capitis nolo. And the hypothecation of it came when they started adding capital letters to these bodies, such as the United States Supreme Court. Okay, the United States Supreme Court of the Republic that we said, okay, you all can do a little something here on our land, but remember whose land it is. That's in Capitis nolo too. But see, again, we are the Congress. We are it. That's why the Constitution says we the people in order to form a more perfect union. We are that in Capitis nolo. The indigenous are. But again, that Constitution that they used, that was something we gave them so they could be lawful on our land. We give them the law and they follow it. And that's not optional. And now that we are in our proper status and our rightful place in Capitis nolo, and we've terminated all presumed corporate contracts actually, because again, jurisdiction can't be waived even by consent of both parties. So they never had jurisdiction over us anyway, but we know how to articulate that. And now that we know how to articulate that, you see that whole capitalism system falling. I don't know if you all are aware, but the stock market shut down several times this week, and it might be shut down permanently. They're just not saying anything. But we know what the stock market was, stock as in cattle. But when we know who we are, that whole capitalism system falls because the heirs are not a part of the capitalist system. We're not a part of it. That's something that they put in place so they could eat and have a sandwich, and they didn't want to be servants. So they slid in and started doing things in Capitis nolo. Okay, but the only reason they're trying to prop it up, I see in the chat, Empress Sharon Morris Bay says they're trying to prop it up, which is kind of funny. And I'll tell you this: the only reason that thing, that monstrosity called the capitalism system is even pretending to be doing anything, is so that we can stand all the way up, because again, all of the nations of the earth eat off of us. And since we are in our proper status and they can't use the capitalist system anymore, guess whose system they have to go by? I'll give you one guess.
The Moors.
That's right, the Moors. Believe and know. And know that from your studies.
Yes.
Now, we're positioned, Empress Jonia's court cause of action information is in the chat. Please note that. Write it down so you can support and be there for her as well. Okay? And then any of you that are doing court actions, please set up court actions and do them. If you need the verbiage, if you need to know what to say, go out on YouTube to like Tajiri Bay channel and look at some of the court actions that have been done there, and you can verbatim write down what's being said and just substitute those violators that are attempting to put you into a capitalist system, because that's all they're doing, is trying to fit you in that system so that they can violate. Now, the thing about the termination of corporate contracts is the benefits, whatever that benefit is ours anyway. It's a benefit because everything that makes that benefit manifest is a part of our estate. They only got to do that because the creditors gave them the supplies and the electricity and the bricks for the buildings and the you know, the internet and all of that. All of that stuff is attached to our land. Cell phone service attached to our land, because they have to have a receiver in the ground, a transistor, transmission apparatus in the ground. That's our land that all of that stuff comes from. And so now this is the part that's going to require the patience from the Moors as we move to using the resources on our land in our proper status is this. We're going to have to learn to tell that system what to do competently. And we're in the process of learning that. It's a formula. And once you get the formula down, you just use that formula and tailor it for each thing, each resource that you're commanding. Okay? And I think we're really close to getting that formula perfected. However, again, we're on a continuous rise, so be flexible so that things can change according to the things that we learn as we go. Okay, and that's the part that requires the patience. When we first started doing liens and things like that, which just kind of kicked capitalism in the kneecaps, our letterhead wasn't in Capitis nolo. It had some capital letters on it and things like that. Well, because we reserved all rights and exercised all rights nunc pro tunc, those are still valid, but now we can perfect all that we need to do. Okay? So, that's really what this is all about, is continuing to grow in our ability to govern our affairs accordingly. Okay? I see something in the chat that I want to just talk about just quickly. It says, Islam, about the things I received from you disappeared from my email, like the entire messages. Okay. Moors, I know this is going to sound a little bit, some of you already know this already. But when it comes to electronics, and I'm a complete example of that, in terms of our energies determine how our electronics work, for the most part. And if we are peaceful when we're doing things, our electronics run smoothly. I know that sounds crazy to some, but don't worry. When your computers and phones start doing things you've never seen it do before, just take a deep breath and say the word peace in your mind like 3 times, because it's a spell. And feel the peace come over you and watch your electronics start doing the right thing. It's because frequencies go through us too. Those who know a little bit about the neurotransmitters in our brain, they fire off by electrical pulses, okay? And so that's why when we are peaceful, our computers do right. I'm a living witness. Even if I get excited about something, like I'm always excited when the ancestors give me new information to teach. If I'm too excited before I teach a class, my computer will not act right. But as I calm down, like I had to do today because I was really excited, so I had to calm down, and once I calmed down, the computer did exactly what what it was supposed to do. So that's just a little side note. I see in the chat where it says, should we be using the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People in any way? Yes, we should. But however, this is where all of that is. The Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, just like all of the rest of our documents, we have to reissue it from our government perspective and from what is lawful. The Moorish National Republic federal government, which is all of you, all of us, we have to take the documents that are out there, including the Constitution, and put it in Capitis nolo. Because when it was initially issued, that's the way it was initially issued. But then they took it and started capitalizing things because they needed to, that's how they make their fiat. It's capitalism. Okay? So we have to reissue all of that in Capitis nolo. I've already begun doing that because I'm so excited about all that we're doing. And I'm going to post in Moorish American Consulate Public Records a copy of the treaty reissued from our government, just like all of the other documents have to be reissued. Anything concerning us must be issued by our government. Or else, guess who issued it, and it's going to be fraudulent. Even the treaty, if you look at the treaty, and the treaty is great. I'm not saying I'm not downing anything that's been done. In fact, all of it is here as learning tools. But when we look at it, it has capital letters in it. And it's issued as a public statute. Public statute, yes. One of the pages says, one of the first pages says, I think United States Public Statute. And that's in all capital letters. So our government just needs to issue the same thing, but in Capitis nolo, coming from our government, saying this is what we're doing. This is what's really going on. Okay? Because even in that, just one moment, Justice. Yes. Even in that document, the word Moors and the word American citizen and United States citizen and all of that has been capitalized. Okay? That's not, now that we know better, we have to do better. Okay? Now, I'm going to put them both together, though. And when I say put them together, theirs is one document, ours is another document, and then I'll say, okay, these two are going into a demonstration that I'm doing. And when I put those two in the same demonstration, I'm letting them know that we're competent to know that they, even though they know about us, they could not issue anything in Capitis nolo because they're not us. And I'm also letting them know that we're no longer a part of the capitalist system. We never were, actually. Okay, Islam Justice Gilmore, or one of the nobles was speaking. Yes.
Islam. Concerning the treaty, quite a bit. If when reading the treaty carefully, we find out that in fact many words were deliberately obscured, changed. So yes, there is because the treaty. In fact, they did a great job of trying to blackwash it. Yeah. And you know what I mean by that? Blackwashing, not to make it us, but to make it them. And so that really has to be looked into, and we have to do quite a bit of work to get that done right, because it's not the language that they took it from. Remember, is not the language that is in now. That's important to know.
That's important. The language of the angels is English. The language of the angels is and the angles is English.
English.
Yes, English. Now, so now that we know that, we are also competent to redo it, and this is what's going to, and what we'll do is send it out, and all of the Moors who want to use it can add their sovereign signature to it for their demonstration. Okay? And again, it's going to be, of course, we always say, don't do anything until you do the study. Okay? No one has to do the things that we suggest until they do the study. Just do the study. That's all we ask, is do the study. And if your study tells you to do it, then do it. If your study says, don't do that one yet, then don't do it yet. Just wait. Just wait. Because when it's time for you to know it or to see it, or you may say, well, hey, like, I saw that you all did this, but it looks to me like this is the right thing right here. So can you add this to it? Yep, we're ready. Bring it. We'll add it. Okay? We're not above being taught. In fact, that's where we stay, is being able to be taught. All of us. Okay? And there's no more new or not so new who can't teach us something. Okay? Justice Valerie Barker Bay's court action will be Wednesday, March 18, 2020 at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. The call-in number or the video, and it's also, I believe, going to be on video chat too. The call-in is 425-436-6200. And the access code is 181995. Please attend. And I'll say the number for those who want to call in. I'll say that again. It's going to be Wednesday, March 18th. That's this coming Wednesday, 2020, at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. The call-in number, if everyone's ready, is 425-436-6200. And the access code is 181995. Please attend, everyone, to support Justice Valerie Barker Bay. Yes. And Justice Joniah. Let's support. Now, I got to say, the empresses are kind of like doing their thing with the court action. So we need a few more of the emperors and the nobles to step up and do some court actions too. So we can do this as a team together. Islam. Okay.
This is Joniah. May I interject?
Yes.
I was noticing that Valerie Barker's is at the same time mine is.
Is it?
Central. 1 p.m. So I can change my...
Islam. What? I'm sorry. I didn't know your time was that.
No, that's okay. I can change mine to 1:30.
Islam.
Okay, that'll be great.
Okay.
Or I can change mine. It's up to you.
Well, 1:30 is fine for me. I just want to make a note to everyone that's listening so they can make that correction.
Yes, yes, it's 1:30 for Empress Joniah. And let me read to you again Empress Joniah's information as well. So hers is going to be 1:30 on Wednesday, the 18th. It's 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. Okay. And the number for Empress Joniah's, Justice Joniah's court cause of action is going to be 425-436-6200. And the code is 661646. And hers is freeconferencecall.com/Joniah Joni L. And that's for those who want to call in or come in on computer and video conference in. It's Joniah Joni L. Freeconferencecall.com, Joniah Joni L. And that's her, that's the conference meeting number. It's in the chat as well for those who want to see it. And to the noble who said, are you challenging the nobles? Yes, I am. I am. So,
Islam?
Yes.
Just to mention one thing, if a lot of people are going to be calling in to the court sessions, so we should know, if you're coming in right at the time it's supposed to start, good idea to not announce yourself, just listen, because when it starts, usually it has to start promptly. And you don't need to announce yourself at that time. You'll see when you show up. Islam.
Or the moderator can mute everyone so that those coming in are muted as they come in.
Yeah, they might not know. So I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, the moderator, whoever it is that's hosting, can just mute everybody, and then it'll, Justice Abbasi said, everyone with court actions, please email abbasitalibzay@gmail.com so that he can attend and support as well. Court actions as well. Any court actions, we want to support one another all the way around. If we could have 100 people at a court cause of action, that'd be awesome. We've never had that before, actually.
So Islam. So you got one at 1 p.m., you got one at 1:30 p.m., so I guess they're not going to overlap?
No. The court actions only, listen, the court actions take a maximum of 10 minutes max.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you go to one of those fake courts, you see how they run people through there real quick? Okay.
Yeah.
It takes us 10 minutes max, and that's if you stretch it out and extend it. You know, I usually talk after my court actions, you know, about the results and what we expect to see and all of that, and that stretches mine out a little more, but 10 minutes maximum.
Islam.
Yes, you know,
yes, it's like they're in different time zones. So one's at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and the other's at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So they're at different time zones.
One is in Central and one is in Pacific.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So they need to change the time. That was what I was about to say. Islam.
You was about to say they didn't need to change the time?
Yes.
Unless they want to go back to back. They're in different time zones. One's at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The one at 1 p.m. in Central Standard Time is at 11 Pacific Time. And the one at 1 p.m. at Pacific Standard Time is at 3 p.m. Central Time.
Right, okay.
But they still they would still overlap if the person, just like now, right now it's 5:36 here where I am, and where in the east there are a couple hours ahead of us. So even if we changed it, you know, we would still be overlapping if we didn't have, you know, the difference in the time between, like 30 minutes difference.
Well, it's 2 hours difference between the two court cases, though. That's what I was saying, Justice.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Different time zones.
So if hers is at if Justice Valerie Barker Bays is at 1 p.m. Central and yours is at 1 Pacific, they would not overlap at all. There would still be 2 hours difference in those court cases. So you could theoretically leave them both at 1 o'clock on that same day, and we would still be able to make both of them because one is Central Time and one is Pacific Standard Time.
So I would just look at the Pacific Time and the Central Time instead of looking at just the Pacific Time.
Yes.
Right.
So if you just look at Empress, if you just look at Pacific Time, Justice Valerie's cause of action is going to be 11.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I'll leave it at 1.
Yes, Islam. So both are still at 1. One is Pacific. That's awesome. Oh boy, it's gonna be great. What if we're having court actions all day, every day, and different Moors are doing court actions all day, every day? That means we would be running this land, governing, no questions asked, and we're doing that now. But it'd be nice. It'll be nice. Come on, Moors. Come on. I know somebody's done attempted to put you in the capitalism system and tell you owe something that you don't owe. So, anyway, I think that is it. We can bring this call to a close for now, and then we'll start back up again next Sunday at the same time, same place. And next Sunday, you all have seen my name change document here. And next week, I'll show you my living birth affidavit. I did show you the bottom of the document, but I'll show it again, Empress. It should be still on the screen. Yeah, it's still on the screen, Empress. Can you all see the document still on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's still there, and that's like the bottom of the document that I wanted you to see, is that all of those documents that are on there that we have listed on there are lower in Capitis nolo as well. Okay, and I will work to get this. Hopefully, freeconferencecall.com didn't do what they've been doing, which is giving me an MP3 when I'm clearly doing a video. Okay, but we'll still get the information up there. It'll go out there as well. Okay, so next week I'll show you, because I want to go through it, the living birth affidavit that is the rebuttal to the birth certificate. We're going to rebut each and every one of those fraudulent documents with documents issued by our government that are competent documents. And when we do that and we say, remember the prophet said we were going to use those, you know, keep those, the prophet said keep those documents, keep them, and we'll use them to judge them with, keep them. So we're going to take those documents, because even in my demonstrations that I do, when I put the sovereign security number issued by our government and a copy of my sovereign national ID and a copy of my sovereign universal living birth affidavit, when I put those three documents in and a termination of all corporate contracts, when I put those four documents in with my demonstrations, I also send a copy of the fraudulent document saying, this is who you said that we were, but that's not me. This is who I am. So I let them know in no uncertain terms, I'm the creditor, not this debtor that you created. I'm the creditor. And I put that in all of my demonstrations. I snap them together. And that is going to correct their system. I didn't think that we could correct this. I didn't really think we could. But we can when we step out of that system and then tell it what to do. And that's how you tell it what to do. You say, I'm the creditor, you're gonna have me in your system as a creditor. Okay, then coming up shortly, as we go through these teachings and learnings and sharing, because this is more like sharing, it's not really teaching, it's sharing because we're just remembering what we knew about ourselves anyway. But as we go through this, we're going to start talking about demonstrations that we can each do with the documents issued by our government, which is each and every one of you all, us. We are the government. Okay? Now, someone said, talked about, I did say, promise you I was going to show you a quick video, and some of you may have seen this video. We will conclude the call with this video. I'll share it on my sharing, on this platform. But Morris, and if you want during the video, if you, or after the video, if you want to stay around and let's, you know how we go out. We go out with a huge bang of energy. Then I'll still be around after the video. But let me share this video. Peace and grand rising to the Moors. Y'all, we got this. We got it. We got it already, okay? But we have to now be patient and learn to use our status and use what we know about the system that's been set up for us here, because it is to our commercial benefit. Step out of the system and then tell that commerce what to do. Okay? Islam. Okay, let me put the video on. I have it set aside specifically. I love this video. Okay, let me pull it up. And then if you could just tell me if you see it on the screen. Can you see the video on the screen?
No, Islam.
Not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Not yet. Okay. Just a moment. Let me make it a whole big deal here. because I really want you to see this. This is a good video.
Can you send a link out?
Yes, I can. I can do that. Just a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to put the link in the chat, actually. That's actually going to be probably more effective even than playing it right now.
All right, thanks.
Let's see. In the chat, the link is this. Okay, the link to the video is in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and play it now.
You guys use the bathroom? All right, I'm on a conference call. You.
Okay.
Who are the Moors? The Moors are the original man and rule man of the planet, the first family of nations to give birth to all other nations. All throughout Europe, the Moors were revered for things like art, medicine, alchemy, high science.
The document is still showing. I don't see the movie.
But we were also being criticized.
Okay, hold on.
Who thought I was trying to take over their seats. You understand what I'm saying?
Can you see the video now? It should be up there.
Yes, it's up there.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and hit play on this. It's a great video. It's our Grand Sheik, Amir Tarik Bey. He is the Consular General of the Moorish American Consulate as well. But he didn't do this video. Someone else did. But they used his voice on this video. And it's actually pretty, it's just great. It's a great video.
Who are the Moors? The Moors are the original man and rule man of the planet, the first family of nations to give birth to all other nations. All throughout Europe, the Moors were revered for exposing Europe to things like art, medicine, alchemy, high science, law, etc.
But we were also being criticized and knocked by the Grand Chiefs who thought I was trying to take over their seats. You understand what I'm saying? But it's like this. Once the children of the light recognize the message, it doesn't matter because it can't win now because they're pure wrong. Because people understand birthright. and neutrality is back on the front burner with a divine and national understanding, which Hoover and Woodrow Wilson have suppressed for quite some time. They thought they stopped it, but it's over now. Because Uranus and Saturn is in the house, and all that stuff is coming down. And no one can stop it. So let's get down to some lessons. Because we want to make sure that you all understand what birthright is, what nationality is, not what people, some critics have tried to imply that it is, or that it's a belief system. It is the continuity of your ancient mothers and fathers imprinted into the cells of your memory. It is your birthright. It is divine. It is unalienable, cannot be sold, cannot be transferred. And when someone tries to sell you a package to sell you sovereignty through the birthright, they're a thief. And you being played because it can't be sold. And understand that the Europeans, the Romans took your birthright. They know it very well. So if you think you want to buy some packages, go down to CVS, make some copies, smack the lies in your face and not get a response, you better think about it again. You see, you've got an interest to study very well to understand what's going on the planet called Earth. Because they're not playing. The inheritance is yours, but you need to understand honestly what it is. And as we were talking earlier, about consulars and things that we should do. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science in North America is that consular. The Moorish Science Temple of America is that consular. Whether or not those wizards who are sitting in the seats have been doing their job is another issue. That's what you can determine. I won't criticize them. You understand? We're here to make sure you understand what the measure is by. That's all. Because it is your mother's inheritance that was supposed to be delivered to you quite a few generations ago. It hasn't been delivered Islam because we have some thieves around and they keep on twisting the people's concepts and then trying to knock those who've been really doing the work and who've been soldiers like this brother here. That's nothing new. Old habit. But right now, understand this. Once you have knowledge of what is and what is not, you will no longer be able to be fooled. Because truth doesn't change or pass away. The deal is, most of the people have been given misinformation, so they don't know how to look at things. They don't know how to use things. They've just been given testimonial type statements and therefore have misunderstood Noble mission. And because they thought they got rid of them, they figured the job was done. No, all they did is slow him down. But he got soldiers, and they're all around here. Many of them working in the city for years. They criticized, they knocked, and pushed away. But they stayed diligent to their charge and square, and they will be remembered in history because you're living that history right now. We'll show you a few more things to remove all doubt that you're in the Moroccan Empire. Show you a few more things to remove all doubt that they stole your birthright. Show you a few more things in evidence, because in the rule of law, evidence, proof, tangible reference points are the basis of establishing identity. Failure to do so, to show that a person placed an idea that's presented before society or court is exactly what and who they say they are. If you fail that, identity by law is failed. But no, give you nationality and identity for identity. Problem is, some of those who be taught to teach you how to use it, I won't say they fail in their duties, I say they're preoccupied collecting silver coins. You've heard of the Judas factor? And this is why many people today don't appreciate the work that Noble Raleigh did, but they don't understand it. And then they have
Okay, I'll stop the video there. The link to the video is in the chat. The title of the video is Taj Tarik Bey - The Real Creditor. And he's talking about that on YouTube. It's a great video. Our Consular General is just, he was just, this was done before 2014. This video went up in 2014. So he was even ahead of his time on that. Okay? And so we are now getting to that point where we know we're the creditors and we're going to learn to use our status. Okay? It's going to take some study and some demonstration as we learn to use the status competently, but if anyone can do it, we can. We have the answers already within our nation. We just have to keep talking to one another. Okay? Islam to all, and Grand Rising, and thank you all for coming. And we'll see you again, same time, same place next week. Peace and love.
Islam, peace and love.
Peace and love.
Islam. Peace and love. Islam.
Islam.
Peace and love.
Islam. Islam.
Pastor Moore.
Yes, Pastor Moore. Islam.
Islam.
Shalom and love.
Shalom. Islam.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Islam.
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 Peace and love,
Islam.
more. Long live the
Peace
empire.
and love. Yes, long live the empire.
Peace and love.
Indeed. Peace and love.
Islam, peace and love.
Islam Empress, peace and love.
Thank you.
Islam.
Islam, peace and love.
Live and be well.
Yes, Islam.
Peace and love.
Islam, peace and love. Islam, peace and love. Oh, today is March the 15th, 2020. Islam, peace and love.